Equidox by Onyx. Reach everyone. Equidox automated batch processing for PDF remediation. Accessibility has become part of the normal course of business. Businesses and organizations are learning that all digital documents must be compliant with regulations such as Section 508, ADA, the ACA, or AODA. Many of them are now working to meet web content accessibility guidelines. Many organizations are still using PDF files for their digital document type, despite accessibility issues that arise from these documents. These must be remediated in order to be accessible for people using assistive technology. But what happens when your organization is producing hundreds or thousands of PDFs every month or every week? What can banks, financial service providers, insurance companies, healthcare entities, utilities, governments, schools, and other organizations do to keep up with the vast quantity of documents they produce? How can they remediate so many statements, billing summaries, explanations of benefits, HR data, product catalogs, tax documents, budget reports, and so many other digital documents that are continually being created every day? What happens when making these documents accessible takes more time and manpower than can be allotted to the task? This is when automated batch processing is a must. Using artificial intelligence, specifically computer vision and machine learning, it is possible to properly tag large quantities of repetitive or similar PDFs and make them accessible in one seamless process. Documents being produced in quantity can be analyzed by artificial intelligence developers. These developers can program a computer to understand the repetitive elements contained in digital PDF documents and tag them appropriately so that assistive technology can understand what is being provided. Let's have a look at an example credit card statement. This statement contains many elements that will be repeated, customer after customer. There is a logo that will be visible on every statement in the same location. The computer can be programmed to identify the image and location of this logo and ensure that it is marked as an image and given the correct alt text, such as your bank's logo. Customer information will appear in the same place on each statement. This can be defined by location and marked as text. There are recurring headings in a specific font and of a specific size and weight that a computer can be programmed to identify and label. Heading level 1 is always going to be in the same place with the same font and weight of characters. Headings level 2 will also be identifiable by their font size. These can be defined, and during the batch processing, the computer will assign them the correct heading levels based on that program definition. There are tables that will also be seen in every statement. The computer can be programmed to recognize these tables, identify the row and column headers, and appropriately tag the information found inside each cell of the table. After analyzing the data provided on the statements, the artificial intelligence developer will build a digital template in which all the elements are properly defined. The template will then be used by the computer to identify all the defined elements during batch processing.
A graphic shows 5 rows of different shapes, each shape on each row connected to the shapes on the neighboring row to create an intricate web.
Here's one of our data scientists to explain how Equidox uses machine learning to analyze customer data and create a template.
In this video, we're going to take a closer look at the system and demonstrate a variety of document layouts that we can handle. Let's dive in.
Documents are shown flying into the web, labeled Deep Learning.
The first thing we need to do is gather customer data. Thousands or even millions of documents can be fed into a generative adversarial network and be organized into groups of similar designs and information. The clustered documents are important for the developers to see the variation within documents.
Organized into 6 colorful clusters of dots.
This particular cluster, for instance, contains documents that the neural network grouped together because they all contain pie charts. The documents are further organized within the cluster by the location of the pie chart on each individual page. These clusters of data often contain examples that don't quite fit with the rest. For example, this document has a pie chart with no distinct categories, making it very visually different from the other documents. It also has a label that is close to the paragraph above it, which may confuse many deep learning or machine learning algorithms, keeping it from being identified correctly. Equidox's batch processing service can identify these outlying documents where many other deep learning algorithms would fail to make the distinction consistently. In examples of documents such as corporate letters, addresses, headers, footers, or even paragraphs may not always be the same length, size, or precise position every time. Equidox excels at recognizing these variations and can consistently identify these key elements. These three documents are located near each other because their layouts are similar, the difference being the number of columns in each grouping. This helps the batch processing system identify variations in a type of document and organize them more specifically. In some documents that need to be remediated, there are certain sections that could be crucial to identify consistently. Keywords can be used to ensure uniformity throughout a large group of documents, even if those words are not in the same place on each page. Typical deep learning algorithms won't be able to identify keywords consistently, but Equidox has no problem creating a custom algorithm tailored to the needs of each customer. Tables are another vital piece of data in a lot of automatically generated documents. This cluster shows documents with tables that vary in the number of rows and in columns. The Equidox batch processing system can handle table variations effectively and consistently. Note that the outlier in the top left corner has a very distinct difference compared to the rest. It is completely missing a table. These type of document examples are detected by the Equidox system and can alert the team as well as the customer of this anomaly. Doing this can highlight abnormalities that need to be corrected before it's accessed by the end user. There are other options out there for batch processing and plenty of buzzwords to accompany them, but Equidox excels because it uses a variety of techniques, not just the popular ones, to ensure accuracy and consistency for clients and end users alike.
Now let's take a look at how the batch processing works and how it will fit into your strategic workflow from start to finish. As our data scientists explained, Equidox will gather customer data and use machine learning to analyze the documents and create a digital template. The template will be applied during the batch processing to produce an accessible PDF. First, the customer or end user will request a PDF file. For example, when a banking customer requests a PDF file of their monthly statement from the bank's website. The requested file will enter the REST API and be conveyed to either a locally installed or cloud server. This server will have the option of load balancing, allowing it to be expanded as needed in times of greater demand. Within that cloud server, Equidox will be running on a secure virtual machine. The PDF file will be deconstructed into individual pages. Equidox will use machine learning to compare each page to the digital templates that have been developed. Then Equidox will apply a zone map that will create digital tags that can be understood by assistive technology, such as screen readers and connected braille displays. The tagged and remediated PDF is generated and returned to the end user via the REST API. With one click, the results will be accessible documents that can be distributed online and via email without anyone having to manually remediate them. The time and manpower saved will be enormous. Equidox will work with your organization to determine the best approach to implement the accessibility batch processing into your strategic workflow. Security and confidentiality concerns will also be addressed to ensure the integrity of sensitive data. The end goal is a fast, seamless, and secure process to achieving compliance. To discuss how Equidox automated batch processing can resolve your accessibility issues, contact us at equidoxsales@onyxnet.com or call 800-664-9638.
Equidox by Onyx. Accessible PDF conversion. The video ends.